Mark's Udemy course and Code with Andrew and Flutter Ways on YouTube. That's great. That's great. These are very good resources to go with. Also, there's one more course which I personally follow and have been following, like from the year 2018. It's a Udemy course by Stephen Grider, and that's a really good course, and it gives you better insights about how things work and the basics of it. So it's a very good course. If you want to try, you can try that. Yeah, sure, sure. That's what I'm searching right now. Just a minute. Yeah, this is the course. You can go over there and you can, try it out. So it's a very good course and it has very good insights.
Uh, yes, I think we can start.
Okay, 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 cool. Thank you, Rich. Yeah, Rajiv, absolutely. You can do anything, and Flutter is very easy and very fast, and it will take a lot of less time, so you can go with that. And I would really like to see that application. Yeah, and you can use the Hacker News API for that, right? So let me just project my screen. Hi everybody. Hello to the new joinees. All right, so I hope you all can see my screen now. Cool. Just a minute. All right. So I had this emulator open, and we previously discussed a lot of widgets, right? There were multiple widgets which we discussed about. So we will discuss few more widgets, and then we will make a few applications by using third-party packages from this website called pub.dev. This is a package directory for Flutter, so you can find multiple packages here. There are packages available for everything, right? So if do you know about placeholder lorem ipsum? Yeah, thank you. So lorem ipsum is technically a placeholder text, right? Which you want when you have to write something and you don't know what to write. Then you use this placeholder text. Lorem ipsum actually is from a Latin novel, like a very old novel. So this text technically, it contains all most of the the wordly structures required to represent a text. So that's why lorem ipsum is a very good text which is used for placeholder. So if you want to use the same thing in your Flutter application, then lorem ipsum package is available. You can use that. Okay. So you technically have package for every need you have, right? So we will just create a new application and we will again try to experiment like what we did yesterday. Cool. Let's open git bash. Okay. Let's go to desktop. So I'll change my directory to desktop. I'll clear this up and I'll see there are 4 things as of now. New folder, desktop ini, and profile widgets. Okay. So that desktop ini is technically the desktop shortcut to this PC, this thing here. Okay. So I will create a folder, make a directory, and I will name it test. Okay. I will go inside this directory and I will create my application. Let's name this application. Sure. I absolutely got it. Is it visible now? Is it? Okay. Okay. So I will create a Flutter application and let's name this. What shall I name this? Let's name this Batman. Okay. Cool. The application has been created for us, and we can see in the test folder we have all the required files required for our Flutter application. No, I'm just using terminal to to showcase the way. Like there were two ways, right? First one was from VS Code, second one was for terminal. So this is the way to create from terminal. Okay. Okay. Now you can go to VS Code. So let me create another application, Superman, but this time from VS Code. Okay. So I will just go here in View, Command Palette, and you can see there's an option Flutter new application project. I will click on this and I will go to my desktop. I will go inside my new folder and I will create a new folder. I will name it test2 and now I will create my project inside this. Let's name this Superman. Okay, cool. So now let me go to desktop. Now you can see there are two folders, right? First one is test, second one is test2. This one was created from terminal, this one was created from VS Code. If you open them up, they are absolutely identical projects. So you have two ways to create projects, right? So I personally prefer the terminal one because I can literally start up from there and I find it very easy to go with. Okay, you can obviously start with VS Code as well. So let's go to our Superman project. Okay, now I will clear this entire thing and I will write everything from scratch. Is this text size fine? This font size is cool.
I think increase the font size. Yeah, this.
Now it's cool.
Little bit increase. Yeah.
Okay, now it's cool. Okay. Cool. So you can see I'm having some issues here because I don't have this MyApp available, right? As I already told, this test directory contains the test cases you want to create for your Flutter code, okay? So these are used when you're testing something, when you're doing unit testing, code testing, widget testing, shard testing, different kind of testing. So it will be helpful in those cases. So we can obviously resolve this error by creating our application. So let's just start with importing the material file always. And I will see the suggestion. Okay. Now, like every Dart program, we always need a main function. Okay. We'll create void main. This is our main function. And we will call our injection function, that is run app. And I will name my application as Batman app. Okay. And I will close this with a semicolon. And then I will create let's say a stateless widget or a stateful widget. So for stateful, I will type stf. For stateless, I will type stl. Okay. So let me create this and I'll copy this. We'll paste this here. So now all the errors have been resolved. You can see widget is still having some error. So what we will do is we will copy this. We will go to widget test.dart and we will replace it with Batman app. Cool. Now errors from this directory are also gone. So let's close it and go to our main directory. So now I would like to ask questions like yesterday we were doing, right? So first I defined my main function, second I defined my application, and then what was the next thing I had to return here? You have options: material app, scaffold, or container. Absolutely, material application. So I will just type here material app. Okay. Cool. Now what material app contains is material app always contains a property called home, which technically is our home page. Okay, Bhomik, we will resolve that issue after when we're done with this. Okay. So let me create a home page. Home page will contain the entire scaffold and everything, right? And inside scaffold we have our things to do. Okay. So let me just copy this and create another stateless widget home page. Okay. Now Batman app was returning a material app, and material app has a property of home page, and home page is returning a container. But we don't want here container. We want something else, and we know that we call it scaffold. Okay. So I will just type here scaffold, and I will remove these braces. Okay. Now scaffold has properties like app bar, drawer, body, right? So we are going to take in use of that. So as of now, let's first run this application. Let's save that. Let's save this and try to run this. So you can see it's being launched into my Pixel 4 device, which is right here. And as of now, our Flutter tree looks something like this. First we have Batman app, then we have material app, then we have home, and inside that home we have a scaffold. So right now scaffold is entirely empty. Right now scaffold is entirely empty. So this is why we are seeing this white space. Okay. So let's add a app bar. So I will call a named parameter called app bar, and then I will call the app bar widget. Okay. And let's save this. Now you can see there is app bar available, but the app bar does not have any text, right? It does not have any title. So I will go inside app bar and I will create a title. The title is also a named parameter. And now I will call a text widget, because obviously your title is going to be a text, a string. So let's just name it Superman. Okay. Let's save this. You can see now the title Superman is available right here. Okay. Now I want to center this. So I will center the title true. Now Superman is centered. All right. So now we are going to discuss few more widgets like we discussed yesterday. In app bar, we already had like drawer, leading, actions, right? And this entire thing is the body. So let's go out of app bar, press enter. And let's type here body. Inside body, I want a container. Okay, and container has a few properties like padding, like height, like width, like color, like decoration, margin, transform, width, right? So I will just give it some height as of now. So let's give it a height of 300 and a width of 300 as well. Okay, now I will save this, but I cannot save my container because container is invisible as of now. So I will just give this some color so that I can see it on this background. So I will give this colors dot red. Now you can see container is visible. Okay, and its height is 300 and its width is 300. All right. So I am wishing this container to be in center. So what I will do is I will select this text of container and I will press Control plus space on my keyboard. Sorry, Control plus dot. Okay, Control plus dot, full stop, period. Right. So here I'll be shown some options on pressing Control plus dot, that I want to wrap this with some other widget, or I want to wrap this with a center. I want to wrap this with a padding or a size box, stream builder, local variable widget. Don't worry about these as of now. We will cover them slowly. So I want to wrap this with a widget, and that widget is center. So you can either select this from here, or you can select this option. So I'll select the upper one because you will never, or you will not always get suggestion for center. I will type center and I will save this. Our container is in the center of the screen. Okay. And now let's give container a child. So I will come here. I will give it a child, and that child will be a text. Let's name it Bruce Wayne. Okay. So you can see Bruce Wayne is coming at the top here. Like, what happens is whenever some widget is being injected, inside container, a child takes up the first. Actually, what happens is the widget has coordinates. This point has coordinates of 0 and 0. So these are the coordinates from where every child begins with. I want this Bruce Wayne text to be in center. So I will just do the same thing. I will select this text and I will again press Control dot, and I will wrap this to the widget, and that widget is going to be center. Yeah. So now you can see now Bruce Wayne has arrived in the center of the container. And what we did here is, so Bruce Wayne is wrapped inside a widget called center, and that center widget is a child of this container. And now this container is a child of this body, right? And that container is again being wrapped with a center. So center ka child container, container ka child center, and center ka child text. So we are just centering everything in the middle, right? Okay, cool. I guess you're following me. So yeah, now let me just do this so that it looks clear. I want to add an image here, okay? So I will go to Google Chrome. I'll go to images.google.com. I will search for Batman. I will find a good image. Let's say this one. And I will copy image address. Okay. I'll copy this and I'll go back to my code. Now I'll be using an image widget here. I want that Batman image to be shown inside this container. Okay. So I will type image and I will select on this. So image has a named parameter of image. Okay. So yeah. Now there are two kinds of images as of now. First one is a network image. Network image allows you to fetch your image from the internet. And asset image is the image which you can save inside your applications directory, inside any folder, and you can access it. So in this case, I'm going to use network image. So I will type NET, network image. Cool. A network image takes a URL. So I know I copied a URL right now, right? So I will just come here and I will add these quotation marks and paste it. I will press Ctrl S. So now you can see this Batman image is visible inside this container. And this is centered. Okay, why this is centered? Because we have this center widget wrapped around this image. Okay, now let's try to do something. We will remove this. Remove this widget. So nothing is happening as of now because it's already being centered. We have a certain height here. So let me just remove the height of the container. Let's see what happens. Yeah. So I remove the height of the container and the container takes the height of the image. Okay. Now let me show you some more properties of image. Okay. So image has multiple properties. Let's first start with editing the images. So I will select some color. Let's select colors dot red. Okay. Now image has another property called blend mode. So blend mode, what blend mode will do is it will color this image and put a filter kind of thing over this image, right? So I will just type color blend mode and I will do blend mode color burn. Now let's save this. Now you can see Batman's image has been edited because we blended it with a color and the color was red. Okay. So now let's try to change the color. Let's put it to green and save this. Now it has been changed into greenish color. So like with the help of only this, you can create a good photo editing application in Flutter, right? And there are multiple properties. Here I'm using color burn, right? I have another property like clear. On putting clear, it will cover the entire space, okay? And I have another property like color dodge. So color dodge has just made it a little bit more brighter. Okay. I have something like SRC at top. So what it did is it created a layer and put it at the top, right? Let's do this XOR. Again, it's going to take the complement color, soft light. So likewise, there are multiple filters you can go with, and this all exists inside a image widget, okay? And you can give image a size if you want, like a height. So I want this to be of height, let's say 20. Let's save this. Now the image has become very small because I put the size to 20. Let's do it 200. Or it's 200. Let's do it 9,000. So you can see now something has happened. We knew that we colored the container to be of red color, right? And now the red colored container has covered the entire body. So why did this happen? Because this image has no right to go and extend this screen size, but the container has the independence to go and extend its boundaries because container adapts everything. So these kind of things should be avoided when you're writing some code. You have to take care of both the things. So let's say if I remove this, now you cannot see container, right? Because container has taken the entire size of the image. So you cannot see the red color of the container. We have colored our container red so that we can see. You can see the color here. Okay. So these things have to be kept in mind and should be understood, like when to use what. Okay. So let's just yeah. So now what will happen when we create applications, right? We are not sure which kind of device will be accessing this application. So there it may be a tablet, it may be a phone in rotation mode, it may be a phone with very big screen size. And it sometimes happens is if the phone has different pixel ratio, then your image gets smaller or bigger based upon that. So to avoid that, Flutter has a thing called media query context. Okay. So let me just, now this image looks fine. Okay. This is taking the entire space of the screen. So now I want this height to be exactly, I want the width of this image to be exactly half of the width of the screen. So what I will do is I will type here width. I will type here media query dot of context. So like we discussed yesterday, what context is actually nothing. It's the context of the screen. Context is something which you are talking about. Okay. So right now we are having this Google Meet right now. So what's the context of it? The context is Flutter. We are learning Flutter, right? Right. So context is nothing. Context is something which is under the focus right now. So I want the size to be context dot size dot width. Okay. So when I do this, let's save this. Nothing has happened because this command means, or this media query of context size dot width actually means the image will be of the same size of the width of the screen. So what I want to do is I want to be the half the size of the screen, right? So like what we do normally when we want to half something, we divide it by 2, right? So we will just divide this by 2. Now let's see. Now you can see the size of the image, the width of the image actually has just been reduced to half the size of the width of the screen. Am I clear? Rajiv, this feature is really cool as size changes on its own as well. Because as I started learning web thing, this really takes times open for suggestion after class. This really takes time open for suggestion. Okay, cool, sure. So what if I want the width to be like 1/3 of the screen, right? I will just, or you can just simply, multiply this by 1/2. That will also work fine. Okay, and I want it to be 1/3. Then so now the screen is just 1/3 of this. So you can imagine this is image, and if you keep another image here, this will be second image. If you keep another image here, this will be third image. So this is exactly 1/3 of the size of the width of the screen. All right. So I hope I make myself clear here. And what if I want the image to be, 75% of the screen width? So what I will do is I will just simply put it 3/4. So now it's exactly 75% of the screen width, right? So this is how it works. So this thing is called media query. It just actually queries the screen size of the media or the content you have, and then you can divide it, multiply it to get the desired amount of screen or widget to be shown. So in this case, our widget is this image. That's how it works. So container has one more thing called padding. There are two kind of things. First thing is padding. Second thing is margin. Okay. So I will just comment this line padding, and I will add another line here, margin. So padding is something which you do inside. Okay. And margin is something which you do outside the boundary. So padding you do inside the boundaries, and margin is something which deals with outside the boundaries. Can we apply the properties like fixed or center top? Yeah, actually there are few properties. We are like, you want your image to be centered, you want your image to fill the entire space, you want the size to be screen width or screen height. So this obviously has this inside the image thing, right? So you can try it. It has a property like fit. So we have box fit dot fill. Okay, so this will not change anything because this image is already in its best format. So you can try other mode. Okay, so yeah, let me come back to padding. So we know that the container's color is red as of now, but we cannot see the container. The red color is not visible because it is right behind this image, right? So let me just add some padding. So padding is something which creates space inside the boundary of something, right? So let me create some padding. So this is how you write padding, and padding takes a parameter. Padding takes actually edge insets dot. Now edge insets actually is in insets of something. So don't go in the terminology here. It's just letting you know that what you want to do inside this padding thing. Okay. So we have multiple options available. All means this will do from all the places like left, right, top, and bottom. So let's try all. And I will write the padding to be 20. Let's save this. So now you can see when I did edge insets all, extra space was accommodated outside my image. The container actually extended itself from the 4 directions. So this is what edge insets all does, right? So this entirely was done inside this container, and now you can see the container. Now I will try one more thing. Edge insets horizontal, edge insets symmetric. So in symmetric, you have two options that you can extend the padding vertically or you can extend the padding horizontally. So I will like to extend it horizontally by a margin of 40. So let's save this and see. Yeah. So edge intersects symmetric has extended the boundaries horizontally. Let's try to do this vertically. Now it has extended its boundaries vertically. So I hope I'm clear. So this was padding, okay? And you have one more thing which you can, which is very, very helpful. That is LTRB. Sorry, only. Only allows you to extend only from the places which you want. So let's say I want the red portion to come. I want the padding to be from the top only. So I will just put it here 20. Now the padding will only come from top. Okay. Now if I want it to be from bottom, it will come from bottom. Left, it will come from left. So this is how it works, right? Cool. So this is what padding works. Now let's try to experiment with margin. So like we discussed, padding is something which happens inside the boundaries and margin happens outside the boundaries. Okay. So let me just create a margin. Margin also takes the same thing, edge insets dot all. Okay. And let's put this to be 100. Now let's see what happens. Yeah. So now what margin has technically done is margin has extended its spaces outside. Okay. So padding was increasing it from the inside and margin was increasing from the outside. So these two things help you to, to align your user interface and widgets accordingly. Okay, cool. So yeah, it also has the same properties. Like if you go only and you want this to be from one side only, let's say from the left, so it will just get extended from the left, right? So this is what container can do. So there are a few more widgets I wanted to discuss. Yeah. So let's remove the padding part here. Cool. Now this image is centered, right? I want this to be removed from here. I will remove this. I will use, now this container will start from starting from the coordinate 0, 0. Now I want this to be aligned, right? So there is another widget called align. I'll grab with the widget. I will type align and I will give it a property alignment. It takes the property alignment itself, alignment dot center. Yeah, so you can see it did the same thing like the center widget. It was able to align it, right? But if I want to align it to the bottom left, right? So what I will do is I will go to bottom left. Yeah, now the image has come to the bottom left of the screen. So this is what align widget does. Okay. Yeah. So now let's empty this body. Let me just clear this up. Now we are going to talk about a widget. And that widget is a row, and those widgets are row and column. Okay. Two widgets. So let's create a column. Column is something which extends vertically on a vertical basis, right? So we will go and create a column. Now column cannot take a single child because in column we'll be having multiple things. So column will take always children. Okay. So here I will type something. Let's say I will type a text. Hi. Yeah. Let me just increase its font size. For increasing font size, I will call style. I will call text style. And I will access font size. I will keep the font size to be 40 and I will save this. So now hi is visible here. Now I need multiple text files, right? So I will just copy this and paste. Yeah, so this is what a column is. Everything is being, at the, in a vertical fashion, right? So yeah, let me just, so you can see what's happening here is, this column is like it's vertical, right? But this thing is, in the middle. So column has two properties, that is cross axis alignment and main axis alignment. So it technically allows you to do that where you want to show your content. You want to show it on the left, middle, or right. So let's just try this cross axis alignment to be start. So now everything is come to the start. Okay. Now let's try to change it to center. Everything has come to center, the default. I want to align it to left or end. In this case, we call it end. So now everything has come to the end. All right. So this text is long. That's why it's, behaving abnormally with this. Cool. So now let's just try to, create few more. Yeah. Now you can see what's happening is we are overflowing some of the widget. This widget is going outside of the screen. I cannot scroll this up and down, right? This is not scrollable for me. So what shall I do so that it becomes scrollable and I am able to see all these texts? So there's a very simple solution in Flutter for this. I will wrap this column inside a single child scroll view. So it's just a scroll view which gives you the functionality to scroll up and down. Okay. So I will just select this text and I will press Control dot to wrap this with a widget, and I will call this single child scroll view here. And I will save this. Yeah. So now you can see this becomes scrollable. Now I can scroll up and down. So if you want a scrollable surface, then you have two widgets. First one is list view. List view is similar to single child scroll view, and single child scroll view is what you are already seeing here. So it's very easy to make scrollable things, right? Now let's do the same thing, but this time we will replace this column with a row, and we will see multiple issues now. Yeah. Now you can see this entire text gets converted into a horizontal thing because that's what rows are. Rows are horizontal surfaces or lines or components. Okay. So you can see I am not able to scroll this here and there. So single child scroll view has a property called direction, scroll direction. So I can just change the direction to be horizontal. I will save this. Yeah, so now we can scroll this. Okay, I can scroll this with my finger. So this is what single child scroll view was. Okay. Cool. Okay, now let's see, we were exploring some more widgets. Okay, so there's one more widget if you want to experiment. It's called Flutter Logo. It's actually a widget for testing purposes. If you want to show an image or any widget, then you can use this logo. So I will just add here Flutter Logo. This is just for experimental purposes, right? If you want to see how your widgets are behaving, then you can use this for testing purposes. So you can see here, this logo is visible. So first of all, let me just put this again to column so you can see. Okay. And let me just put this to vertical. Okay. Reduce this text. A Flutter logo can take higher size. Let's keep the size to be 100. You can see a Flutter logo, text high, HIDD, HI, HI, HI. Likewise, it will go on. Okay, so these were rows and columns. So do you people have any doubt? So yeah, rows and columns both have two things. First is cross axis alignment, and main axis alignment. Main axis alignment also has the same property like space around, space evenly. So what you want to do, I actually will show you the example for this later on. As of now, is this clear? Okay, Rajiv is asking to put two images side by side. Okay, it's very easy. So what we can do, we can just create, I will create a row in this case just to show you. Okay, I'll create a row, and a row will have children, and my first children will be an image widget, and this image will be a network image. Okay, and the network image will be this URL. Copy image address and paste this here. Okay, so you can see this image has, it is trying to take the entire space which is given because it's inside a row, and row is expandable to infinite surface which you give to it. Okay, so we'll just limit its size to be height to be, let's say, 300. Okay, yeah. And if I just uncommentingly see what it was previously, sorry, yeah. So this is taking the entire, height of the image. So we don't want that. That's why we limited it. Now it's good. Now what I will do is I will just copy this up. I'll paste this. So yeah, this is again overflowing, right? So I want these to be scrollable or to be shown side by side. Okay. So I will just wrap this row inside our widget. And this time let's use list view. Okay. So list view will actually will have to remove this widget. List view takes children. Okay. So and the scroll direction. Okay, we are having a render flex issue here because it's extending the 891 part. Okay. So let me just copy this from here. Cool. Inside the body, let's replace this all. Just paste this. Cool. Let's try how it goes. Okay. Let's try in this case. All right, all right. Okay, let's reload the application. Okay, I think we have made some mistake here. Let me just remove this entirely. Okay, cool. Cool. So I will just create a row. All right. I'll create its children. I'll create a image, and that image will be a network image. And I will add some URL to that. I will copy this URL. I'll come here. I'll paste this, and okay. Let's see the changes. The image is too large. Let's put the image height to be 300. Copy this and paste this here. Okay. Now these are stacked side by side. Let me just make it 100. Let me just make it 100. Okay. So this is how it works. Yeah, we can also work with device width. Absolutely, device width by 2 and alignment left and right. Absolutely. So yeah, these were some widgets which we wanted to explore. Now let's try to make something. Okay. Let's remove all of this and let's create another new application from start. Okay. This time we are going to take in use of packages. Okay. And what our application will do, that our application will generate a random mantra, a random code. All right. So let's just go here and import a material file like always. Cool. And like every Dart program, we need a main function. Let's create a main function. Okay. And we need an injection function that's called run application. And I will take this, name this as mantras app. Okay. Now I will go here and I will create a stateless class. Let's create a stateful class this time. Okay. So yeah, actually home can be stateless. Control C, Control V. All right. So what this will return? This will return a material app. Okay. And a material app will contain a home, and home will contain let's say home page mantra. Okay. And home page mantra will contain another, let's this time make stateful widget, and let's name this home page mantra. Copy this, paste this here, copy this. Yeah. So this is how a stateful widget looks like. So stateful widget has its own state class. Okay. So you need not to worry about this as of now. So we will just create a scaffold. Okay. Inside the scaffold, we will have an app bar. App bar will call the app bar widget. App bar will have a title. Title will be a text. Text will be mantras app. Okay. This will be our text. Cool. Now we will go to body. In body, we will place a text, and this text will contain mantras. So let's try to reload the application. So what we did as of now, we just discussed about few widgets. We discussed about container, padding, margin, rows, columns. We discussed how we can, show images. We discuss how we can align content on our application. Okay, so I want this mantra text to be a little bit bigger. I will go to style. I will add text style. I want font size to be, let's say, 40. And I want this text to be centered. So let's wrap this with center widget. All right, cool. Cool. Now I will copy this mantras app and we'll go to widget test dart and I will paste this. And now the error has gone. Now we'll go to Google Chrome and we will go to pub.dev to search for a package called mantras. Okay. So this is a Flutter plugin. So a Flutter plugin that serves a database. So plugin, when I say packages, they all are the same thing. When I say dependencies, so all three things convey the same thing. Okay. Absolutely, Varun. I will do provide something to work upon, right? So yeah. So how to use a plugin inside your Flutter application? So to do that, there is a file called pubsec.yaml file. Okay. And there are two kind of dependencies here. First one is this dependency, which just imports our Flutter SDK. Second one is this dependency. These are called dev dependencies. Okay. So these dependencies are importing two things. First one is Flutter SDK. Second one is Cupertino icons. And these dev dependencies contain a Flutter test and the SDK Flutter. So we will basically deal with these dependencies. So while editing things in pubsec.yaml file, you have to be very careful because these are basically dependent upon the indentations. Okay. So you can see here, if I just select, there are two spaces here, 1 and 2. Let me just zoom this up. So if I just remove one space now, this is going to cause errors for us. Our application will fail. So you just have to make sure that you don't mess up the spacing and the tabs here. Okay. Like in Python, you have indentations to be taken care, right? In this too, you have indentation to be taken care, or else your code may fail. All right. So I want this package to be used inside my application. So what I will do is I will copy this here. You can see the copy clipboard icon. I will copy this and I will go right below these Cupertino icons and will paste this. Okay. I have pasted this. So this is the package name and this is the version of it. So you can see the version is 0.0.3, 0.0.3. Okay. So I will just hit Control S and I will save this file. Now Flutter will download the package from this pub.dev package directory for us. Yeah, now it's done. We have no issues. Okay. Now we will go to our main.dart file. Now we want this text to be replaced with our mantra. Okay. So I'm not sure how to use this package because I'm using this for the first time, right? So basically, whenever you go and download any plugin or use any plugin from pub.dev, it always contains a README. Okay. This README tells you how to use this plugin. Okay. So here, usage, it has an example. So what we will do, we will define a string and we will call this function mantras.getMantra and this will get shown onto our application. Okay. So let's try to do this. Let's copy this. And let me just paste this somewhere. Let's see if I can do this here. No. Yeah. So first of all, I need to import that plugin. Okay. To import that plugin, let me just, go inside my state class, paste this. So there are two ways. One way is to go and type in here import and mantra. You will get the suggestion and you can import it. Okay. This is one way. Second way, let me just comment it and show you. Second way is to go in here and you will get a quick fix written here, right? You just have to tap on this. Okay. It is not showing. I'm not sure why, but it just tells you to, export the package. So as of now, let's just use it only. Cool. Now you can see the mantras error has gone. Okay. Cool. Now I will just type in here Mera mantra. I will just copy this and paste it in place of my text. So let me just save this. Okay, we have pasted it wrong at the wrong place. I'll paste it here. I will put a $sign to access that. And I will save this. Yeah. So you can see I am being shown a random code, right? This is a random code from the package. So if I will just, restart the application, I will see another code here, right? You can see it doesn't hurt when it's over. If I refresh it again, yeah. So if I just keep on doing this, I'll be seeing a random code here. So this random mantra here, okay? So we can achieve the same thing by using a init function, okay? Init state. So what are states in Flutter? States are something, let's say, states are something, these are the positions or the states in time, okay? So you want your application to be, let's say, in a state of pause, in a state of active, in a state of, let's say, resume. So these are the states, okay? So as we discussed that application, that was counter application. So whenever we were tapping on that button, our state was getting changed, right? So that's how states work, right? So let me just go here. Yeah, just a minute. Let me actually just open the entire application which I had. Okay. Yeah, I will just stop projecting my screen from here. Cool. Cool. Open with. Okay. Cool. So yeah, we are at our code here. So let me first create a floating action button. Okay. So like we already discussed in the first application, we had a floating action button. So yes, let's create a floating action button. Let's come here. We will create a floating action button. Okay. So on pressed is something which you listen. Like when I press this button, then what will happen? So this is the function of on press button. Okay. I will as of now just keep it empty or void. So this is how you keep it empty or void. And I will have a child, and the child will contain an icon, and that icon will be icons dot add. Let's say add a photo. Okay. So you can see here's a floating action button. Let's put this to refresh. Okay. So what we are trying to do here, we are trying to refresh this when we tap on this button. Okay. And we take in use of the functionality of stateful widget here. All right. So we want to create a function first. So yeah. Let me just ask people, like, are they following me up? Is it all understandable, guys? Or am I going too fast? Okay, cool. Cool. Absolutely. So yeah. So now I will go inside my, this is my state class. Okay, this is my state class. I will go in here and I will create a function. Okay, this function will, what it will do, it does not have any return type as of now. Okay, because we are not trying to return anything. We just want to run this block of code. Okay, so let's name this function as update code or update mantra. Okay, so exact function, this is function body. Okay, so now what I want is, I want this mantra to be updated when I press this button, loading action button. So let's just first create a function for that. Okay, so what we will do is, we will copy this, paste this above this so that we can access this. So we want this mera mantra to be reassigned. Okay, we want this to be reassigned. I will just tap on get mantra. All right, I will just close this. So I have the function ready, which will update this mantra here. Now I just want to call it whenever I tap on this button. So I will just release these, delete these two components, and I will type update mantra. All right. So let's see what happens now. Okay. Am I missing on something? Okay. We are able to get the function. All right. Okay, we have to restart the application. Cool. Cool. Absolutely. So one thing we missed out terribly, and that was to create init state. Okay. So we have to just copy this thing. All right. And we have to copy this thing, and we will create an init state. So init state in Flutter is actually, it just init state, sorry. Set state. Set state tells you like what you want to change, or what you want to achieve, or what you want to update. Okay. We will just paste that we want to update our mantra. Okay. We will just save this. And now this works fine. So you can see whenever I click on this, my mantra gets updated and I am being shot with a brand new mantra. Wherever you are, be all there. Progress is a process. So this will go on forever. Like this package has about 500 plus quotes and mantras. So this is how you can generate your own thing. So yeah. So there is this wonderful API. Okay. So this is the Bhagavad Gita API, which just gives you the random quotes from Bhagavad Gita, right? So you can use this API to do the same thing, and we will actually try this out if we get enough time. So this is this is the same API actually. So this does the same thing, and I actually made the same application where you hit this update button, you will get a random Gita quote. Similarly, if you hit this, then you will get a random mantra here. So this was very important because right now what we did is we just covered the stateful feature, like stateful widgets in Flutter, right? So this was very important, and I hope you people were able to get it. So let me just rephrase this what we did here. First we created a material file, okay. Then we created a main function. Then we created a stateless widget, and that stateless widget contained our material app. And inside material app's home, we were calling a home page mantra widget, and that home page mantra was a stateful widget, okay, because we had things changing here, so we used the stateful widget. So whenever you create a stateful widget, there are two things which get created. First is this. Second is the state class, okay. and we write init states and state functions, state things inside our state class. So you can see I defined my string inside my state class. I wrote my update mantra function inside my state class. Okay. And then I went inside my scaffold. I created an app bar. In app bar, I wrote a text, which is mantras app. And then I added a floating action button, which is at the bottom. And then in the body, I created a center. And inside the center, there was a text. And the text was listening to Mera mantra variable. This is the text. Okay. And this floating action button had an on pressed property. So on pressed literally tells you like what this will do, right? When you press on this button, what this function will do. So on pressed tells you that. So on update mantra. So let's go to update mantra. So if you want to go to any function or class, you can just press control and tap on this thing. So this is our function. Inside the function, we were telling Flutter that we want to change the state of something which is written inside here. So whenever I am tapping on this function is being called and a new state for the variable Mera mantra is called. Okay. Yeah, Bomb, it gives for both Hindi, English, and Sanskrit. So you can try that out. Okay. Yeah. So what we did today was we understood what states are. So actually, we will be doing the same thing tomorrow. This thing which I told you about, this was to be covered tomorrow. But since we already have one thing lined up, and that will be the application which you're going to create. It will be a portfolio application. So if you guys are not aware like what portfolio is, so a portfolio application just conveys the basic information about yourself, like what you are, what you have been doing, what's your designation, where are you from, your basic contacts, your GitHub links, LinkedIn links, everything. Okay, the portfolio app looks something like this. Okay, you'll be having an image and your link to your platforms like say GitHub, say your Dribble, your Behance account, etc., etc. And it will be covering the basic, information about you, like what's the email, how can they contact you, what are your projects, etc., etc. We will be covering that same thing. So we already covered states today, and we will take a brief note about that tomorrow as well. Uh, so now two kinds of widgets are clear: stateful and stateless. So if you guys have any questions or any more queries to ask, and go with. If you did not understand anything today, like literally you did not get anything, then not an issue. We will again cover few like the things in the same manner.